Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. We're into the tough questions like, can I make an awesome shepherd's pie in a cast iron pan? And what do muddy sheep do? Second one's easy. Take a bath. I want to thank Victoria's Signature Cast Iron for sponsoring this video. We're going to be using one of their large skillets and their Dutch oven to pull this recipe off. This is a recipe I have never cooked before, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips and tricks on how to tackle a new recipe when cooking at home. And if you want even more information on maybe being a new cook and how to tackle recipes and deal with recipes, I'm going to put out a members only video, a longer cut of this video where I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. When cooking a new recipe, the very first thing you need to do is print it out and read it. Read it top to bottom so you know exactly what you are going to be doing. I'm using the Victoria's Signature Series 12-inch cast iron skillet. It is going to be perfect for this recipe. It is also oven safe for the second part. First things first is we're going to take it and put it over medium heat. And we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil, just kind of enough to get us going. Half an onion diced. We can go right into the pan cold. About 2 tablespoons of minced fresh garlic. This was, I don't know, like 8 or 9 cloves, something like that. And we're just gonna kind of stir those around and let them cook. We're gonna cook these for 2 to 3 minutes. All right, I'm starting to get a nice little bit of twinge of browning going on here. Looking nice. We're gonna move on to the next step. This is a pound of ground meat. This is 3/4 of a pound of veal and 1/4 pound of beef. The reason of that, I had it left over from when I made Italian meatballs. So to be an official shepherd's pie, it would be all lamb. To be a cottage pie, it would be beef. So I don't know what this one is. It's a cottage pie? Cottage pie? I don't know. I got one of these things off of Temu. I don't know if it works, but it's supposed to help mix up and break up the meat a little bit better than just doing it with a spoon. We'll see. It's supposed to get you better crumbly bits. Oh, believe it or not. All right, at this point I can go ahead and just mix in all the onions into the meat. Actually, it looks pretty good. Now we're gonna add in all our dry ingredients. I have a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of herbs. I'm using herbs de Provence. Just something I had in the pantry. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire, whatever you call it, the Worcestershire one, that one. Tablespoon. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And we're gonna give that a little bit of a mix. Now we are gonna go in with 1 cup of beef broth. Make sure you're scraping the bottom of the pan to deglaze it and mix it well. Now you're supposed to use frozen peas, frozen carrots, and frozen corn. I couldn't find frozen peas and carrots by themselves, so I got this. It's frozen peas, carrots, and green beans. I'm just gonna fish the green beans out. It's the only thing I can think to do. I don't think the green beans would make a good texture in the cottage pie, so I'm gonna take them out. There's 1, and bag number 2. And now we stir. Make sure you are scraping the bottom. You don't want it burning on the bottom. And we're just gonna continually scrape the bottom and cook this for 4 or 5 minutes just to kind of cook the veg through. That's looking like a pretty nice filling so far. That could probably use a pinch of salt to me. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit, maybe 2 pinches of salt. Give it a mix, okay? If you're cooking for anyone other than just yourself, it is a good idea to use a fresh spoon every time you taste. So, perfect. We're gonna set this aside and move on to the second component of the dish, the mashed potato topping. For our potatoes, I got 3 pounds of russet potatoes that I have peeled and chopped into roughly the same size. You wanna make them about the same size as best as you can because they're gonna cook evenly if you do it that way. If you aren't gonna use your potatoes for a little while, stick them in water and that'll stop them from browning. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain this water because that's a bunch of starchy water that we don't need. Potatoes into the Dutch oven. Cover them with tap water, room temp. And then we're gonna turn the pot on and bring it to a boil. Now we wait for it to boil. While we are waiting on this to boil, we're gonna go ahead and preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want a pot to boil faster, put a lid on it. Just watch it, because it could boil over. The goal when cooking any mashed potato is to get your potatoes to what we call fork tender. Doesn't matter how long it takes to boil, whether it even boiled or not. The question is, are they fork tender? What does that mean? So this water has not even boiled yet, but we're just gonna take one of these guys out, and with the back of a fork against a hard object, you're just going to press down. It's not breaking apart. If it was fork tender, that would just pop and come apart. So these are in no way near ready. I knew they weren't gonna be, but I just wanted to kind of show that to you. We are at the point where we can at least salt the water. Just like when you cook pasta, you wanna salt the water when you cook potatoes. I'm gonna put in about a good tablespoon of salt. This is part of that seasoning throughout the process thing, where the potatoes are gonna be nicely seasoned because they were boiled in salted water. See you in a little bit. We've been at a rolling boil for a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and test them now. See, now we're starting to get some give, but it's not really popping. Give these a couple more minutes. A few minutes later, we're gonna give them a pop. See how I went right through with no effort? That's fork tender. These are ready. I'm just gonna go ahead and drain them off in the sink. Nice thing about the Victoria's Secret pan, it's hot, but I can actually still grab this. The next thing you want for next level mashed potatoes is a potato ricer. I didn't have one of these for years, and I was like, how much better could it be? It's that much better. You just load it in and press. This is easier to do if you're standing up, but I am pretty sure I made too many mashed potatoes, but can you really have too many mashed potatoes? I don't think so. This is 8 tablespoons of butter, a full stick. Unsalted. 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream. Half a teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. 1 tablespoon granulated garlic. And a 1/4 cup of grated Pecorino Romano cheese. Now you just want to mix this. And you're going to want a bigger bowl than what I grabbed. You want something nice and creamy. Make sure all that butter melts and makes its way throughout. Give them a taste. That is a delightful mashed potato. Let's go get our pan. And here is our lovely filling. And now we top this with this. Maybe I didn't make too much. I do have quite the large pan. You're trying to get like a nice even layer of potatoes on top. And we're gonna take our little fork here, even it out. And I wanna kind of do little scrapes to get some craggly bits. Then I'm gonna take a little bit more Pecorino Romano and just sprinkle it on top. Now this whole thing's gonna go in that 400-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes until the top is nicely browned. I did 20 minutes on the middle shelf, and then I moved it up 1 rack and did 20 minutes. I'm still not 100% happy with the browning, so I think that looks better. Completely optional, but this is a little bit of chopped parsley. I think a little bit of green will look nice for a photo. And there is my non-British person's attempt at shepherd's pie. I'm gonna get some photos, see how this sucker tastes. Moment of truth. How does it taste? That actually came out looking pretty good on the plate. Potato, mince. It's delicious. Oh man, that is really good. Good balance of flavors. The meat is delicious and savory. The potatoes are just amazing. Love these potatoes. A little bit of crisp on them, especially these ones on the end. It's really good. For my first attempt at a shepherd's pie, I am really happy with that. I love cooking with these cast iron pans. You can use them in the oven, you can use them on anything. They're just so easy. If you guys are interested in grabbing a Victoria's Signature Series cast iron pan, I have a discount code for you. Go to their website and use the code DADGOTTHIS15 and you'll get 15% off at checkout. Not a bad deal. And you can make an awesome shepherd's pie like I did. If you want the recipe, it's gonna be on my website, dadgotthis.com. All the links for anything you will need will be in the description. The link to my website, the link to the pans, the discount code, everything. Go hit up the description. If you're enjoying this content, please do the likey subscribe thing. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. Really want to support the channel? Consider becoming a member. Members get shout outs, producer credits, extended cuts, early access to videos, all kinds of fun stuff. But if you can't, subscribing would be enough. Guess with all that out of the way, there's only one question left to answer. What do you call a bunch of sheep falling down a hill? A landslide. Yeah, pretty dad. Pretty dad. Pretty dad and pretty bad. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, cook fantastic shepherd's pie in Victoria's signature cast iron pans. But one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye. This is the part where I thank all of my members. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for your support and rock on. I don't know why I said rock on, but rock on.